Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. A sea of green guys in the crypto market. Looks like all these altcoins have been moving up, guys, including Bitcoin. This one courtesy of Sento Sumo Saba here on Twitter. Now, this is a great little resource. I don't feel like I use this enough. This is, if you look up crypto heat map here, you'll find a website called Coin360. I used to use this back way back when, and it gives you guys an interactive heat map. As you guys can see now, the heat map has changed since that time. Can you drag it over? No, you cannot drag it over, but you guys can see there is now some red in the market. But Bitcoin has made its way up to another high, guys. It's getting really interesting now. I know for my Patreon subscribers, you're probably wondering, what the heck am I going to do next? Is now the time? Are you going to chase green candlesticks, Working Money Channel? And for me, I mean, the short answer is no. But for more information, you can find out what I'm doing at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. If you want to see my trading journey and actually watch me make these trades, yeah, I'm going to post a video of my trades as soon as they occur and post them within like 10 minutes or so of me actually making the trade. I'm also planning a live Q&A session. Hopefully that will happen sometime later this month. I had a lot on my plate, guys. Familial obligations, so on and so forth. But let's get back to this. Bitcoin right now trading at $46,700 per coin. We had a high of 47,200. So technically Bitcoin has made a new high now. Throwing it on the daily, you guys can see that trend right in there. A new high for Bitcoin. And, you know, a lot of us were thinking, myself included, that we were going to see it move down at this point here. As soon as I saw this, this is kind of like the telltale sign that, you know, this thing cannot be sustained. However, something that has kept propelling the news is this Bitcoin ETF stuff that's just getting people to buy Bitcoin until it hits a new high. Yesterday on my Twitter, I did post, I don't know, guys. I mean, to me, if Gary Gensler is warning us as of 3 hours ago that crypto investments can be exceptionally risky and volatile, he probably knows that even the slightest statement by the SEC suggesting a delay will topple this thing. Who's buying at the top? Retail. That's who. Guys, I was talking about this article that was posted yesterday. As many expect SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded product to be incoming, the commissioner's view warned crypto investments can be exceptionally risky and volatile. So I did talk about this a little bit in yesterday's video. Gary Gensler did initially post this on the X platform yesterday, January the 8th. So, you know, considering he's been seeing a lot of heat with regards to crypto regulation, and considering he, you know, probably doesn't want to veer off his main point. We want to protect investors. It's pretty easy for him. I mean, low-hanging fruit. If he says this is exceptionally risky, volatile, knowing full well that this Bitcoin price has been bought up, moving higher based on the retail FOMO of the news. Okay, not even the confirmation that we are getting any kind of BTC ETFs, but just on the news that we're getting the BTC ETF approved by the SEC. Now, Yassine Mubarak posted this astute comment. Does this sound like a guy who is about to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF? So just going back to this Gary Gensler thread, some things to keep in mind if you're considering investing in crypto assets. Those offering crypto assets and investments and services may not be complying with applicable law, including federal securities laws. Investors in crypto asset securities should understand they may be deprived of key info and other important protections in connection with their investment. He says, number 2, investments in crypto assets can be exceptionally risky and often volatile. That is what this headline or subheadline was saying here from the Cointelegraph. A number of major platforms in crypto assets have become insolvent and or lost value. Investments in crypto assets continue to be subject to significant risk, and fraudsters continue to exploit the rising popularity of crypto assets to lure retail investments into scams. These investments continue to be replete with fraud, bogus coin offerings, Ponzi schemes, etc., and outright theft where a protection promoter disappears with investors' money. Now, just looking at this on the surface, very negative comments here, and I mean, we know ultimately getting into coins when they were at their lows back at the end of 2022 was the best bet. But now the crypto is back into the eyes of the mainstream, and you know, mainstream retail traders are now buying up Bitcoin. I think we are still in for some short-term pain before some long-term gain. Now, that is just me personally. It does not sound to me like they are going to get this approved tomorrow, like literally tomorrow. That's the date that we're supposed to get this verdict. But you know, this thing takes time. I guess you got to think to yourself, how long has it taken, just overall, just kind of forget about the Bitcoin ETF for a second. How long has it taken for the US to get up off their asses and figure out, just kind of generally, how to address the cryptocurrency situation in the United States. We just went through a 3-year-long lawsuit, guys. Did you forget about that? Remember how long it took for XRP to get clarity? So my point there, just to say that I don't think they are going to rush this thing along. I think it will still take time. I do not believe that we are going to get, this kind of clarity this quickly. And there are signs to suggest, well, I mean, you'll see back and forth. I guess we'll have to judge this together. Cryptic Poet here posting this. Okay, note, Gary Gensler went from calling crypto securities to crypto assets. This is not a coincidence. It's a clear change in sentiment. So noticing the change of messaging here. Securities, this was back from, what was this from? February 2023, so earlier last year. Notice how the sentiment has changed. So this is from October 2022, crypto security. So again, from the past and now, he's calling them crypto assets, probably because he's had a talk with somebody, and now they're looking to change the messaging. So a very important observation there. Wanted to thank Cryptic Poet, of course, and Yassim Mubarak. I'm not going to thank Gary Gensler, but Yassim Mubarak just for posting that. So we've got Bitcoin here trading at 46,700. How is the rest of the crypto market faring? We've got XRP trading right now a little bit higher, but not by much, 56.9, so just under 57 cents for an XRP. Crypto market jumping back into greed mode, 74, so quite high on the fear and greed index. We got the market cap up a little bit, $1.72 trillion. That's up by 4.88%. We've got 24-hour volume up by 37.33%. And Bitcoin, guys, is the leader of the pack, 53.2% in terms of Bitcoin dominance. This is generally what we see in the market. Bitcoin is up by 5.28%. And again, a sea of green. Solana kicking it into high gear, 12.13%. Other coins like AVAX, double digits, 10.45%. And the rest of the crypto market, the rest of the altcoins are looking very, very healthy, at least as of the time of this recording. Now, guys, this could change on a dime. Tomorrow is the day that we are going to get some kind of verdict or some kind of choice on what they're going to do next. Eleanor Turret here posting this. Just spoke with a couple of people who received additional comments. They say they're not worried, and the SEC hasn't conveyed a change of plans. Now, that is not to say that they are going to approve this thing tomorrow. That's just to say they're not worried, and maybe they're willing to wait it out. My sense is that they're fairly confident this is just part of the process to get everything in before January the 10th. Now, she retweeted out Perianne Boring's tweet, Spot Bitcoin ETF update. The SEC just issued additional comments on pending applicants' S1s. This is a delay signal, she says here. Chad Steingraber asking here, the ARC 21 shares final date would have to be an outright denial. They can't delay it anymore. Perianne Boring says denial would be delaying the inevitable. Everybody is just kind of waiting and seeing what is going to happen next. I'm sure a lot of people are poised to jump into the market if the opportunity shall arise, myself included. And I got some interesting choices here. I've written them down on a piece of paper. So depending on where the prices go, I'm going to be getting into either one or two different altcoin positions. Once, if this market does correct a little bit, we are still at a pretty good price point. For some of these altcoins, they have not moved too much yet. I mean, you can't deny the facts. Rob Art here posting this. Okay, that's how you know it's not going to 200,000 in 2024. So this is another narrative that to me just signals red flags. Bankers and institutions aren't your friends. They are creating hype to make sure the retail investor keeps buying their bags as they keep selling. It needs to be done gradually so as not to create fear and therefore a crash. To Standard Chartered. And guys, these are this is the institution that posted this, that put out this statement. You are their exit liquidity, their profits. Don't be fooled about that. He was retweeting out Lark Davis's tweet. Standard Chartered Bank calling for a $200,000 Bitcoin by 2024. So you seeing it now, guys? You seeing a pattern? The bullish sentiment getting out of hand. Institutions now predicting that Bitcoin could reach nearly $200,000 by the end of the year if Bitcoin exchange-traded funds are approved and are successful in the United States. The bank based the price prediction on the assumption that between 437,000 and 1.32 million Bitcoin will be held in United States listed spot Bitcoin ETFs by the end of 2024. Now, they might get approved by the end of 2024, but, if we're looking for that guaranteed approval by tomorrow, because I seriously think even the slightest comment from the SEC that they are going to delay this thing even by a month, I think is going to get the market going down at least 10, 15, 20%, at least. If ETF-related flows materialize as we expect, we think an end 2025 level closer to $200,000 is possible. So this is, again, the statement here from Standard Chartered, one of the financial institutions that is using retail that are not on the same side of the trade as them as their exit liquidity. So that excludes you and I, guys, if you are buying at the right time. Again, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel if you want to see what I'm buying up and when I'm buying up particular altcoins. It's not going to be Bitcoin, that's for sure. Michael Branch also bringing this up. Okay, so a Fox Business report, they just reported that BlackRock is expecting the U.S. SEC to greenlight the BTC ETF application this Wednesday, January the 10th. So BlackRock feeling very, very bullish on this. They are the largest asset manager in the world, as we know. They've reportedly anticipated that regulators approve their application for the Bitcoin spot traded, exchange traded fund this week. Fox Business reports that BlackRock is expecting the SEC to greenlight the BTC ETF application this Wednesday, January the 10th, which is tomorrow. If approved, the ETF will be the first time that the public stock market will feature a crypto investment product that directly tracks the spot market price of Bitcoin. They go down here talking a little bit about using JP Morgan as their APs, their authorized participants. And Eric Balchunas, he says that naming the APs isn't required on S1 filing, so BlackRock adding them may have just been a power play. But just to be clear, the AP names weren't due to S1s, so BlackRock adding them in there is a bit of a flex in that regard. Of course, JP Morgan is a big name in the financial sector, so using JP Morgan is, it probably did nothing but help their application. So if we see other S1s not naming AP, doesn't mean they don't have one lined up, but this does make BlackRock the first horse officially ready, in my opinion. So BlackRock obviously wants to be the first out of the gate to have the SEC's approval. On the flip side, though, guys, we have this from Jungle Inc. here. There will be no delays. So on the flip side of the coin, looking at the fact that this is going to get greenlit tomorrow, no delays. And he's going on this Cryptic Poet posting this originally. Jim Cramer says Bitcoin is topping out, basically suggesting that maybe now is the time to get out of the market. And if you guys know anything about the inverse Cramer indicator, what you do is the opposite of what Jim Cramer says.
What are we doing with these? Let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
So you think Bitcoin's topping out, do you, Jim? Okay, maybe a case here for a higher Bitcoin price if you are going to look at the inverse Cramer indicator. Wanted to thank Jungle Inc. and the Cryptic Poet there for posting that. Another one here from Jungle Inc. BTC ETF approval is imminent, and it's a huge step not only for crypto, but for the digitization of finance. Another clip here of former SEC chair Jay Clayton.
What happens with Bitcoin? Is the SEC going to sign off on a Bitcoin ETF, you think?
I think approval is inevitable.
And imminently?
And I think there's nothing left to decide.
I know.
And I credit the SEC for where they are. Where are we? We're comfortable with the disclosure. Joe just went through the cost of investing in a Bitcoin ETF. People need to know what the cost of doing it is. They need to know, about the underlying Bitcoin market. Is the Bitcoin underlying trading market something that is what I would say is robust enough, efficacious enough, where you can rely on it? It is much better today than it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, there was wash sales, there was laddering, there was all sorts of things that you wouldn't want to make available to the general public because of that risk. And the last thing, and I think this is missed, is the technology to actually provide the product, the custodying, the create, the redeem. This is a big step, not just for Bitcoin, but for finance generally. If you can digitize, tokenize underlying assets and trade that way, that's a potential significant change across finance, not just in the crypto space.
But you think Bitcoin ETF approval is coming and imminent?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Okay. Your opinion matters, former SEC chairman.
Your opinion matters, former SEC chairman. I mean, he really didn't give, any kind of confident. He says it's imminent, that it's going to come, but he's not saying it's coming tomorrow. That's certainly for sure. And, if any of you guys are thinking I'm bearish on this bull market, no, I'm not bearish. What I'm looking for is a correction. And I think that this overheated market has proven itself. And I do think we are due for one. I think, since we've seen them in the past occur roughly at this time, right before the Bitcoin halving, don't forget, there's a few months before the Bitcoin halving, guys, the narrative could and should at some point speak to that before we do get that next Bitcoin pump to the upside. So I'm expecting that to happen in April. But before then, in the meantime, I do expect this to come back down. As Rob Art does point out down here, we know from experience that Jay Clayton always has our best interests at heart. Aww. Okay, so there's also this, guys, that I wanted to bring up with regards to some stories that I've been talking about with regards to Bitcoin still. From Ripples in Wales here, very interesting timing. And the blockchain backer also mentioned this in a couple of his videos. This one from Coin Bureau. While everyone is focused on Bitcoin ETFs, there is something else strange going on. So there is the 1 million, I'm not going to play you guys this clip, but I will link it in the description, one whole Bitcoin to inscribe some raw data and create over 300 inscriptions. People are sending Bitcoin left, right, and center. There was also the Bitcoin that was sent to Satoshi's wallet. But what somebody found out was this Bitcoin here that was sent for this inscription data, it was Bitcoin that was used to buy the pizza back in 2010, the 10,000 Bitcoin that was used to buy that pizza. So the guy that sold that Bitcoin to someone else, that was one of the Bitcoin. It was traced back to this most recent transaction here, the one Bitcoin spent to inscribe that data. There's also the Satoshi story about Satoshi Nakamoto receiving something like $1.26 million in his account. We were thinking that it could be the government trying to dox Satoshi. Another possibility there. If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. So, there's all this distraction, maybe distraction technique, I don't know, but there's a lot going on, a lot of activity surrounding Bitcoin in the space, all possibly potentially pointing to the fact that they do want to approve this, but they do have to get their ducks in a row before they go about doing so. Eleanor Turret here also posting this. Okay, we're now past the official SEC submission deadline of 8 a.m. and all issuers, aside from Hashdex, have submitted their updated S1s or S3 in Grayscale's case. So unless there's a last-minute filing from today, these are the issuers that have handed in their homework and would, in theory, be ready to launch this week. So we've got Grayscale, ARK Invests, which is 21 shares, BlackRock, Bitwise, VanEck, WisdomTree, Invesco, Fidelity, Valkyrie, and Franklin. So these guys are all ready, set to go. But crypto guy down here saying, I have a feeling Gary Gensler has a trick up his sleeve to delay this decision in the name of protection, of course. And again, guys, I'm not disagreeing with that opinion. I also think that, Gary Gensler probably isn't ready to do this. This is why he's issuing the warning. He can come out looking like a hero if once they delay the Bitcoin spot ETF approval. Okay. But did you notice this one, courtesy of Michael Branch? All of these big players that are now listing the Bitcoin spot ETF, they are now listed on the DTCC. So that could signal that it is going to be approved. Again, we don't know if it's going to be approved by tomorrow or by next month. We really just don't know yet. Monday, January the 8th, WisdomTree VanEck, they've added their listing on DTCC and are ready for clearance. VanEck has been listed with the ticker HODL, whereas WisdomTree has added their ticker BTCW. Earlier, CoinGate reported that Bitwise Spot Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund has been listed for clearance with the DTCC ticker symbol BITB or BITB. However, this does not necessarily mean indication of any regulatory clearance amid the pending approval from the SEC. So they're just saying that these guys have been listed. And again, I think the same thing. I mean, they know it's imminent, as Jay Clayton was saying, but maybe not necessarily tomorrow. Fears over chances of the U.S. delaying the Bitcoin ETF were triggered, with the agency's official issuing additional comments from the S1. However, analysts believe that these were mere regulatory compulsions and have nothing to do with the decision-making in terms of approval. Earlier, CoinGate reported the comments from people associated with the ETF filers who said the SEC has not informed them of any change in plans. So guys, just remember, the S1s, when there was additional comments needed, this is, I think this was what triggered this down and around here. So, I just got to look at what retail is saying. And if retail buys now near the top and sells near the bottom, well, that gives us one last chance to pick up some cheap Bitcoin or altcoins for that matter. Another one here from Eleanor Turd, an interesting caveat here on how the 5-member SEC commission could potentially delay the Bitcoin spot ETF approval. While there's no scheduled commission vote on the ETF, each commissioner apparently has the right to request a full review commission vote under the clause cited below as they see fit, even if the matter has already been assigned and approved via delegated authority. So commissioners include Gary Gensler, Crenshaw, Pierce, Lizarraga, and Udea. And so they are entitled to this to request a full review. Guys, there's 5 members on the board. Do you think that all 5 are just going to say, no, let's just go ahead with it for tomorrow? I don't know. Some very interesting points, though, some very good points. So wanted to thank Eleanor Turret, of course, Michael Branch, and everybody else associated with this breaking story. I mean, guys, it's looking very toppy, but, there's some counter evidence to suggest that maybe we will still go up higher. I'm personally waiting for that retracement, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.